Welcome, everybody. Welcome to my live show. This is Susan Winter. I absolutely adore the group that I have here. If you are one of my followers who's here with me today and you know my work, I thank you so much. This is a warm, wonderful, supportive place to get together and have deeper conversations where I can answer your questions. I answered one the minute I opened this up. If you're joining the replay, welcome. Please check it out. I'm able in this context to have an hour to have a more detailed conversation than I do in the videos that you see that are basically a monologue. Here, I'm interacting with you and I can entertain a little bit more sophisticated conversations. I don't have to worry about my keywords and SEO on YouTube. I can dive deeply, which is what I love. So if you don't know me, I'm Susan Winter, best-selling author and relationship expert, thrilled to be back with all of you today, shooting today from New York City. If you hear, I don't know, fire engines or police cars or whatever, today we are talking about very important communication skills, when to be silent and when to speak up, knowing when to do your communication. If something's upsetting you, bothering you, you're confused, you're reactive, it is vitally important. And there are steps. I will tell you when to speak and when to be quiet, and also how to do it when you want to speak. Okay? Let me start by first of all saying hello to Bea and Gwyneth. These are my moderators, and I believe that they're with us today. Kamet, Brian, Charles started at the top of the hour. Jeff is here. Ileana is here. Okay, I still have to use this. It's going to be another. You probably won't see me with my glasses until I get to Arizona, and God, I hope they work. Okay, and so I have Jessa and D33 and Richard. Okay, Susanite, Stacy Brown is here. Arnold, thank you. Thank you all. So remember, if you have a question, put it in super chat for me. Okay, let's get right into it. Have you ever had a day, a bad day? It's just a bad day. You're either tense, you're worried, you're angry, God forbid, you're hormonal, and something is bothering you. And you want to talk to your partner. And you will do one of two things. You'll either blurt something out, or worse yet, you're going to start talking and 2 hours later not even know where you're going. And for sure, your partner doesn't understand. Okay? So let's talk about when to stay silent and when to speak up. Far too many of you have this. We each have a default. Let me start with this. People are either prone to have a fear of speaking up, or they blurt things out and then have to do damage control later. All right? We want to adjust your default, and your default's your default. It's where you started. It's what you've learned. It was your survival skill from childhood. That's okay. It doesn't mean it's bad or wrong or it's going to harm you. What it does mean is that knowing that, we have to know what your natural response will be, and then you can tune it from there. So don't feel badly like, oh, I'm always afraid to speak up. I'll never be able to express myself. I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay? Easy breezy. 1 hour, you're going to be fixed, done. It's all good. Okay? Everybody. Okay, let's see. What do we have here? Steve, how are you doing? Always maintain frame as a man, set healthy standards and boundaries, never put up with disrespect. Okay. Most people have difficulty communicating. The root cause of this is far greater than you'd imagine. They don't know who they are. They don't know what they want. They think they do, but the level of self-awareness is not keen. For any of you who are currently dating, you might have noticed it's not you, right? Oftentimes you get into a situation and the person that you've chosen that's exciting and vivacious and sexy and cool and fun and dynamic, when you hit a roadblock, they fizzle out. Too much work, too hard, it's stressful, I don't know how to do it. It's just like, I'm going to let it go. So these things never get attended to. And the reason is that the individual has not done the core work to know really who they are, to know really how they're built, and to know really what they want, not what they think They want because society has told them, not what their friends, their girlfriends are telling them they need to have in a partner, because if you don't, you have low self-worth. Not what your buddies are telling you is make you a man. And what it's just, it's, if you don't know yourself, it makes all of this so much harder. But I know that those of you who are tuned in today, you do. I do not attract people who do not have a psychological and spiritual awareness and are keenly intellectual and smart. You just, you would be bored watching my channel. I know that. So I can already go to a level with all of you that, you know, most people can't go to. So let me start. Oh my goodness, I got to say this. Jessa, $2. Thank you. I think he has a big ego. How do you address that? Very good. You are going to pay attention. First of all, thank you for your contribution. Big ego. That comes under how to speak, verbiage, and using the correct words. I'll give you a snapshot and a teaser. You will need to learn language that clearly communicates what you want without tripping the minefield of his ego. And you will have to learn to be very good in the words that you select. Okay? I'll show you how to do that later. But let's start right away with those of you who are afraid to speak up, that you're silent. Okay? You should be silent if you're hormonal. Ladies, I'm telling you, this 2 o'clock in the morning thing from personal experience. I was just having, I don't know, I woke up and something was bothering me and I started talking. I was younger. This is not recent. And it was like 4 o'clock. And my partner's looking at me going, what do we do? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm tired. I got to go to bed. I kept that poor man up for 2 hours. And you know how we go, ladies. You know, we'll go like this. And the man's just going, what do you want? Just tell me what you want. I don't understand. Like, clear. What do you want? 3 words. Tell me. And we go, you have to focus it. If you are angry, if you are upset, if you know you're hyper reactive, please stay silent until you can get your thoughts together. Because blurting something out, whether it's speaking when you shouldn't, or being afraid to talk, you should stay silent if you don't know what you want to say. That's a bottom line, okay? So remember, when you're angry in general, that's not a time to speak. Some people have tempers that absolutely flare. And the first thing that they do automatically, ego people, feel that they're being disrespected, or you're not treating them the way they want, or I deserve better, or how dare you, do you know who I am? These people will blurt out, okay, because it's reactive and defensive, because they need to hold on to their control. And then they have to do damage control. If you tend to be reactive, have a quick temper, it's caused you problems in your relationship. You know it. Or maybe your partners don't have the courage to tell you once they break up with you, but it causes problems. So we have to take a beat. Even when you're angry, be silent for a moment and take a beat to think. What is it? What's wrong? What exactly do I need to say? Okay? Very important. Before you attack. Attacking is not communication. Attacking is not speaking up. Attacking is defensiveness, and it will bring you nothing but misery. It's the first defense. I've never really understood this, but I do know, as I've lived longer, that there are people that just, if they're hurt for whatever reason, their first impulse is to hurt you with words. And I'm like, why does your bad day have anything to do with me? You know, I'm not it's not about you, but when it's done to you, it's really hard not to personalize it. So if you're receiving it, you know, that's not about you. If you're giving it, you got to really check that. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on that before I go any further? It's really, really important to keep these things in order. Okay. Now let's go on to this. So you stay silent when you're emotional, hormonal, or angry in general. You stay silent long enough until you can figure out what it is. I'm not saying don't speak. I'm just saying stay silent long enough till you know what you want to say. Number two, of course, is when you don't know why you're upset. All right? You have to find words and gain clarity and brevity. This is really important. If you don't know why you're angry, shut up until you know. If you have to walk into another room. Now, many people, when they find themselves in a heated conversation with their partner, are smart enough to walk away. Oh, and this drives the person who's exploding on you absolutely nuts because you're not engaging. It's like they've got this poison in them. They want to spew on you and you're not playing. It drives them nuts. I mean, if you really want to make them nuts, walk away. But the thing is, you want to sit down and rationally figure out, what's their problem? What's going on here? What do I need to say? How do I need to protect myself? Is this even a relationship I want to be in? How dare they say that? But you will come back a second later, organized, and your mind will be clear, because the strongest communication is when you are unified with yourself. The innate power that you hold when you speak, when you can slow down and know what you're saying, is immense. This is when you see people on TV shows or movies and they're speaking, but they're very calm because they're in control. They already know where they're going, they already know what they're going to say. I think I've seen some things on TikTok. There's a whole TikTok thing about Thomas Shelby, right? Why am I drawing a blank on the name now? Oh, God. Okay, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? On Netflix. So there's a whole thing about how he speaks very quietly. I mean, could kill you in a second, right? What's it called? Peaky Blinders. Love the show. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying? So clarity and brevity. Now, brevity, guys, I don't have to really. Most men, I don't have to go over this with you. Ladies, brevity. We all need a lesson in brevity. Okay. Our partners normally don't need a lengthy exposition. They need the what is it? Why does it bother me? What would I like instead? That's the Susan formula. What is it that's upsetting me? That's one sentence. One. Why it upsets me? That's sentence number two. Here's what I'd like instead. That's sentence number three. You have now just given them the program and instructions with how to make it better. What they do with it shows you whether they're somebody you want to continue seeing. Do you all understand that formula? Very simple. Ladies, I beg you, don't over explain and don't grab other situations. When you are in a conversation with somebody, stay focused on that one thing, because this is what I call the broken toys. Whether it's, like adding trauma to yourself or adding trauma to the discussion. Far too many times people will start with, well, you did this, and then you did this, and then now your conversation is gone. The minute you take it away from one isolated situation, even though there are 50, okay, you have lost their concentration, you have lost their focus, and you have lost conflict resolution, because now their brain is scattered. What are we talking about? Now, if one were to unload with a litany of, then you did this, and you never do this, and you don't like my family, and you're always late, and you never, blah, blah, and you didn't call me on my birthday, and you should know what to do, whatever. That stuff, the person who's on the receiving end, all they can do is defense. Like they're just trying to smack the ball that's coming across the fence, right? So they're not listening, they're not fixing, they're not engaging, they're not understanding, they're in total defensive mode. So if the entire upshot of the only thing you get from this conversation today is the formula for clarity and brevity, the formula, what it is, one sentence. Why it bothers you, that's the justification. Number three, what you'd like instead, an exact example. Nothing nebulous, like I would have preferred that you show up on time. It would make me feel important. Whatever, the cure. Now they're clear. Okay? So if we don't do that, we've lost. And when these other things get added, again, you create defensiveness. The art of getting what you want is to create defensiveness, right? Defenselessness. Oh, shit. You understand. Okay. Defenselessness, meaning the words that you use and how you explain it to your partner should go like water through rocks. If you are using the wrong language, if you are being accusatory, if you have an attitude, if you are using a word that you know is going to upset them, a word that would be designed to hurt them, you will not get any kind of response. You want them to do what you want to do, right? I mean, I shouldn't tell you this. It's a tactic, but if you are trying to get your partner on board with you, at least give them half a chance to not have to fight you about it and listen. And the words are so important. This is why, if you have a big conversation, stay silent until you know the exact verbiage you want to use. This is how I came up with my intro and exit conversations with guys when I realized that dating back in the early 2000s, suddenly now it's a negotiation about exclusivity. I'm like, well, what, of course they're exclusive. You're sleeping with me. Why would you do it? That's how the world has changed, at least for me. That was in my life. You chase somebody for marriage, you chase them to be in a relationship with you, right? That was normal. Nowadays, you got to have all these conversations. So, knowing that, I had to prepare a conversation. It had to be exact. It had to be selling the idea of how wonderful it is, allowing freedom, like it's their thought, their choice, giving them time, not pressing for an answer, because that'll make anybody worried, and dropping it gently with the right kind of language, right? These are disciplines. If you want good results, you must be disciplined. Haste, aggression, anger, fear, explosiveness destroys a relationship. Okay, now I've spoken a lot, so let me shut up for a while and read what you've got to say, because I have more things here that I want to talk to you about. And some of it I already have, but I'll just go into detail. Okay, what do we have here? Jessa, hi. He's not complimentary. Lackluster response to my sexy pics. You're trying awfully hard here. Silent or speak up. I want it to be genuine. Why are you chasing him for his approval? I mean, that's a lot of work. So I can tell you about communication, but just saying, you're putting a lot of work into making this guy like you or want you. That's kind of a red flag right off the bat to me. And I apologize for this. I've been doing it so long. I think I cut right to the chase, but I'd rather you hear it this way. Now, let's say you want to talk about this. Okay? Use the formula I said. One, what the problem is. I strive to be attractive for you because I'm attracted to you and I care for you. Two, I notice you don't pay attention to it, don't compliment me, and don't seem to notice it. Three, in order for me to stay interested in you in this relationship, that's the veiled threat where you're back in control. This is what I do. Oh shit, now I've got all my secrets away. Now I'm never going to be able to have a conversation with anybody again as far but you just say, in order for me to stay incentivized to be here, I would need to know that you're into me. I like verbal affirmation. I'll leave it there. You're not asking for an answer. Don't ever ask for an answer. That puts you in a weak position. You state it. What I say, you throw the dart and you leave the pub. You just walk out. You take the tennis ball, you smack it across, and you walk out of the gate. If you're waiting anxiously, you are their captive prey and you are weak. So keeping power and control means that you are in control of what it is, how it affects you and what you'd like instead. And I realized that was a little bit more than 3 tight sentences, but I had to do this off the top of my head. Okay? But that's it. Then you see if they do it. But you shouldn't have to try so hard with this guy. Right? I don't know the situation. Sounds like he's got a lot of other options. But I can tell you this, you're losing traction with him by trying so hard. Okay? And thank you for your commentary. All right, let's see. All right. Oh, God, I hate it when it does this. How can I do this? Okay. Jeff, if he's that dead, move on. Great comment, Jeff. Okay, so let me go over this. Again, I'm going to recap. I'm going to tell you what I told you. So again, you stay silent if you're emotional, you're upset, you're angry, you're hormonal, or you don't know what it is exactly that's bothering you. You do not work this out with your partner. Okay, while you're you do not want verbal diarrhea. They're just going to be lost. And worse than that, you're going to teach them not to want to listen. This is why guys tune out, ladies. They're like, because women, we go, right? They're going to tune out. Okay. Ask yourself also this, number 3 of the when to say, stay silent. Will it pass? Will it pass in time? Will this feeling that I have pass? And this is where you check in with yourself, which requires self-awareness as to, is this like a baby insecurity that I have? Like, am I feeling a little jealous here? Am I just feeling weak and needy today? Am I having a bad day and I just really want a hug? And you are giving me a hug and now I'm getting reactive and, oh, maybe they're not the right one. And maybe I need to talk about it. And I don't know what I should say. And I'm going to call Sheila and say, I mean, where are you going with this? Because a lot of us have those moments where we get the oopsies inside. And the first thing is we want to like correct it, but it's us. If you think it might be your insecurity, your fearful assumption, new relationships, it's been 2 hours, they didn't text me back, oh my God, they moved on to somebody else, anxious attachment, sit with it. Sit with it just long enough to see if it will pass. Because oftentimes you realize it's really a you thing, it's not a them thing. And I'm going to do a whole special on new relationships because they're so messed up. The glitchiness of people freaking and bailing. Okay. This is like chronic now. It's like, it's so classic. I think it takes 4 or 5 breakups to even get into partnership anymore if the people can sustain it. But that's the same thing. Write it out. If you think it could be you, just weak, needy, bad day, before you attack, accuse, start a fight, just sit with it. And if after sitting with it, you're like, no, now I'm thinking about this other thing that I'm calm, I'm objective, it doesn't feel right. You know, as a matter of fact, this is kind of ongoing. Now I have a conversation that I need to have. But before I unload on them, let me get my speaking points very clear. Because the clearer you are on those things, what it is, why it affects you the way it does, and what you'd like instead, you will not make any traction to just reveal it. Okay? Does that help everybody? You got that? Thomas, how are you doing here? I see you. Jeff is here. Taylor's in the house. Daryl, hi, Susan. Glad to see you online again. Susan has made some excellent points. Thank you, everybody. This is a bad combo. Anxious attachment, insecurity, and overthinking. Yes. And I believe that attachment theory book is so big now because the entire dating and relationship space is filled with nothing but anxiety. It's anxiety provoking to go online. Am I being scammed? Am I meeting somebody? Why did they disappear from the conversation? Are they real? Do they mean it? Are they coming back? Then in a real date, you know, are you futurizing? Are you telling me the truth? Do you have all this stuff is going on. Then you get into a relationship a little bit, then they get weird. They could pull away, then they need their space, then you're not sure. Does that mean goodbye? Are you backpedaling? What do you do? And this all stems from individuals nowadays generically not knowing themselves as well. And here's where I'll sound a little bit like Jonathan Asley. His whole thing is the psychology of yourself. His whole thing is like me, like get yourself together because he's so He's done so much work in that area. And all I know is that if you don't know who you are and you don't know what you want and you don't know what you absolutely need, it won't work. It's like apartments, okay? This apartment that I have, I was hit with a $700 a month rent increase. They're going off some tax abatement. That's like a big deal. $700 more per month? Now, when I was talking to the realtor, I just decided to call somebody. I said, here's what I have to have. Dog, safe area. Okay. Here's what I would prefer. And then I listed 10 or 15 different things. And I told her why. I was super clear. Imagine if we could all do that in our relationship. You may be able to, but imagine if you met somebody who could do it with you. Now that's heaven, right? Okay, what do we have here? Thank you so much. Kundra, hi. 10, thank you so much. Coworker texts me good morning daily, out of work, has flirted. We've been to dinner. He calls me cute, makes suggestive comments, drives hours to see me, but he wants me to say I like him first. Okay, couple questions. One, can you have a workplace romance? Check your HR manual if you can. Okay. Two, do you like him? Do you know if you like him? You have to know that. Let's say you know that. Yes or no. That's up to you. Three, how do you know that he wants you to say it first? Did he tell you, I want you to say it first? Or do you think he wants you to say it first? I don't know what's going on here. I'm going to guess, because of what you're saying, this appears as though he's put a lot of work into letting you know he likes you. It feels to me like he needs some kind of tangible green light. I like you too. And I'm wondering if you've used your words, speaking up, to say, I really enjoyed this. I enjoy spending time with you. I'm so happy to see you. Thank you so much for driving. You need to encourage him. That's how you tell somebody you like them. Uh, I love Super Chat. I'm able to give you a pretty good approximation of what it is you have to do. And again, it's always dependent upon circumstance. But I would start with know what you want to say. And why would you be hesitant to tell him you like him if you like him? He certainly is working pretty hard for your favor. I'd at least start by complimenting him and letting him know that you appreciate the attention and see if that doesn't do the trick. And then you can just say, I like you. I really want you to understand you're not giving your power away by telling somebody you like them. This is not a game to be played as to who likes whom. We're trying to build real relationships here, and real relationships require self-awareness and real communication skills, honesty being one of them. And if the couple does not set a standard for honesty in the beginning, they will never, ever, ever make it longevity-wise. Even if they stay together, they'll hate each other, have assumptions, and stop communicating. So the best thing you can do for a relationship is get really clear in communication. I know it's not a sexy topic. I'm telling you, if I titled today's show, Communication Skills, How to Speak to Your Partner, one of you would show up. I know that. But I have to do these silly titles for YouTube. I'm just grateful that you all know when you get in here, it's a whole lot more. Okay, so I think that's pretty well answered it, I hope. Thank you very much for the contribution, Kendra. Okay, Thomas, he is clearly putting extreme effort. It's very clear. Question is, if you reciprocate the attraction and/or Thomas, you've got us in stereo now. Okay, same thing. All right, let's move forward. Thank you for that. Anybody else have a question? Put it in super chat. Okay, so we've gone all over when to stay silent. And that's normally while you're formulating what you want to say, because it is important to speak up. All right. Now, let's go into when and how you speak. Okay, you speak when you know it is what you want and you know what the problem is. Okay, you know what it is when you want, you know when you're not getting it. And again, This is all contingent upon the language you use, okay? You want to eliminate resistance. You need to know what words freak them out. Let's say it's the beginning of a relationship and you've got somebody that's a commitment phobe, or they're acting like a commitment phobe, or they're scared or whatever. Not ideal scenario, but it could be most of the people dating nowadays. So knowing that, you may not use the word relationship. You may say connection, just to like ease the burden of them. Oh, did she say relationship? Oh my God, does she want a relationship? We've only been dating. I've only been sleeping with her 2 months. I'm not ready. Some stupid thing like that. Like, yeah, you're in a relationship. You are definitely, but you're afraid to hear it, but you're in one. So you will have to couch your words knowing the person you are with. All right. There are often times that we want to go into an explanation and it will be to our detriment. Um, and we'll want to explain this thing that they're doing that we really hate. It's really better to come at it from another angle to get the best results. Remember, if you're trying to correct a bad behavior, one, you do need to call it out, but you also need to be very clear to not, the minute your person feels attacked, they will either shut down or attack back. So what we're trying to do is say what you need to say, but really study the language that we need to use. Now, this is going to be your private practice. You have to know what irritates your partner and what doesn't. This is your job in being a partner, to know how to speak to their disposition. Everybody has a disposition. Screaming and yelling, some people do that. They grew up with it. That's not tolerated in a healthy relationship. That may be what your partner knew, but that's not tolerated because it creates defensiveness and nothing gets resolved. You know that. That's why people are screaming, okay? So if you have a question, this is the time to ask it so that I can give you an alternative word to use. So send me super chat if you have something really urgent, like you have a situation and you don't want to say it to them directly. Sometimes the word that you use sounds accusatory. They're doing it, but you need to get an answer and you need to get the information in like water, or you think they're doing it. Okay. So how you approach it is a delicate art in and of itself. You will get better, but you have to start someplace. Again, so you go back to that basic 3-step formula and you're going to be fine. You will start to learn how to amend your words, sometimes soften, sometimes sharpen. Depends on how they hear. Some people don't hear unless you hit them over the head with a strong word that shows that you're not meek, that you're not taking it anymore, but you're saying it very calmly, but you're saying it very clearly. This is a dynamic that many women don't feel comfortable doing in a partnership, that have learned to be submissive and feminine and docile. I know that times that I wanted to make a correction, well, they were players. I mean, I could only correct so far. I knew what I was working with because I was doing it on purpose. But I remember coming at them, aligning the bad behavior with the goal that they held most dear. So fusing the two together made them hear it, for sure. For example, if a man was being dishonest, how that affects his reputation in business. See, they don't care about hurting you in that moment, but you need them to hear this for their own betterment. And don't you know, at the end of all these conversations, I got to thank you. So miracles can happen in the real world, everyone. All right, I'm going to continue on. Ask me questions if you have them about framing something. Put it in super chat. Let me help you. Anybody have any questions yet? Okay. I haven't seen B and Gwyneth. There is a time change. We had a time change, and I think Europe is going through one too. All right, let's move on. The language. This is really important for you to know the disposition of your partner. That's going to hold you in such good stead. All right, now let's see. Be very precise. Okay, because the purpose for all of this is to express what is going on, not to antagonize them. Again, sometimes I've had people, like I said at the top of the hour, that just go off, and it's so unexpected. And it took a friend of mine, not in this business, to tip me off to something that happened to me the other day. I was absolutely dumbfounded, and I took it personally. And I want to tell all of you, don't think your coaches aren't human too. We go through the same things that you guys do. Nobody's perfect here. You may see somebody with a perfect marriage or a perfect website, or you think they've got it all together. They're dealing with the same stuff. Maybe they don't share it with you. Most of them don't. But it hurts when somebody accuses you of whatever is upsetting them and uses you as and given the situation, a dying person, I'm hardly going to start to fight them on that at that moment. Okay. So people are strange, and you can tell when you've tripped one of their wires because the reaction is so out of proportion to the event. Okay. And my friend had to show me that. Anybody else? I'm not getting any feed here. I want to make sure that can you just do something so I make sure that I can see this? I'm always thinking that YouTube is doing something funny and freezing on me. Okay. All right. So now I want to tell you about a couple things. I'm not seeing any feed. Somebody can you type something in here so I know that YouTube hasn't frozen? Okay. Super chat is no longer available. Okay, super chat. Okay, now it's moving. Oh my goodness. Okay, it was frozen, everybody. Forgive me. I don't know why. This is so crazy. Okay, bear with me. Okay, Kendra, you're working it out. Okay, Thomas and Jeff are helping you. If if overthinking made us thin, we'd all lose weight or whatever it is. Joe, $5. X broke up with me, started to have feelings for me again, but isn't sure. Oh, shit. About getting back together because he said he'll yearn for other guys because I'm not a fit. Thoughts. Oh, run, 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 run. Everybody here, I'm sure, is thinking the same thing. There's a breakup for good reason. Probably you were deeply unsatisfied. And the person's telling you, I want to get back with you, but I'm not really sure I want to get back with you. So that's code for, I don't have anybody I'm sleeping with right now that I like. You were kind of good in bed and I liked you. And I like the fact that you really liked me a lot. But in the meantime, I'm going to want other people. So I don't want to yearn for other people, but I want to see if I can get you in the gate, put you in the back burner, put you on a low simmer, keep you around for when I need you. I don't know that I'm going to need you for long, but I want you here for me because I might want you just in case. Are you good with that? That's what this is. You don't want that. Okay? Those are my thoughts. Thank you. And you are healed, healed, heal, all that healing for $5. Joe, run, 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 run. I know many of my clients who are gay are wondering, and I'm assuming you're a guy, I don't know, but I'm just going to say this. Many people think that in the gay world of men, that loving committed monogamy is not possible. And it is. It is. It's a discipline. It's a choice. And being committed in any dynamic sexually is a commitment and a choice. And it's a commitment to your partner to continue to find in them what is fresh and new and beautiful, and to continue to offer them, in turn, you who are growing and living and responding and evolving as a person. So we all say, run for the hills. Okay. Now, what else do we have here? Okay, Golden Hawk is back. Hello, Golden Hawk. How are you doing? Thomas, thank you for taking over while I'm doing the rest of this. Okay, Golden Hawk, $10. Thank you, Golden Hawk. I wanted to feel that when I'm in a relationship, my eyes aren't wandering to other guys and wanting one of them instead because I feel the guy I'm with is attractive enough. Is this reasonable? Yes. Do you have trouble ordering from the menu? when you're at a restaurant? Like, do you feel badly if you're taking chicken instead of, beef or something? Let's say you eat flesh, okay? You don't feel badly if you want strawberry ice cream and they only have vanilla. You want what you want. And if physical attraction is for you a key element, a must have in your relationships, then you must have it. You know that. So, but as a general rule, I would ask you to consider this. Um, Beauty changes over time, not just with age, but beauty changes as we know a human. And people who are loving and good and exciting and charismatic, I don't mean like boring and just they love you, but they're just somebody who really excites you. Their look, the taste, the smell, everything about them can make you want them because of the totality of who they are. So don't sleep with people you are not attracted to, but start to deepen what you understand attraction to be. Physical is agreeable. The contents are amazing because that's where you're going to be really, really, really happy. Okay. Thank you very much for that. I do appreciate it. Okay, let's see. Love that you're all talking to each other. 1999, blackmail. How you doing? My best friend is in love with me. Oh, geez. And my girlfriend's response, wait, my best friend. Okay, oh, geez. And my girlfriend's response to break up with, okay, hang on. All right. My best friend is in love with me, and my girlfriend's response was to break up with me due to a feeling that I feel the same way. They know they need therapy, but I can't shake off the feeling of there being another chance. I'm okay. Is your girlfriend right? Do you have deeper feelings? Sometimes feelings of friendship can morph into sexual attraction as well. They can have those moments of such a sense of love and closeness and knowing each other and feeling comfortable with each other that they leak over. Because she said this, I'm wondering if it may not be true and you don't even know it. Um, Actually, and I'm sorry for this, but I'm proud of her that she set a boundary that whatever it is, no matter how much she cares for you, there's just a little too much going on here for her to feel comfortable. So that's one. But let's say they both need therapy. Let's say your friend is like all over the place and your ex is like super insecure. Time to upgrade your friendships and time to find partners who resonate more with where you are. I think this takes some examination within yourself and maybe some really serious conversations with both of them. I would assume you're in a friend circle and you all know each other. Um, it is really tricky when you have a friend that you're really close to. Lots of ladies have male friends, and they do kind of cock block the guys that are in there. And I remember when I first came to New York, my boyfriend at the time was very controlling, a man's man, tough, rough guy, pro bodybuilder. I had a guy friend, and he said, "You can't see him anymore." I loved this guy. He was funny, but he rightly called it. And I felt controlled at the time, but I also saw the wisdom in it. My guy friend was madly in love with me. Introduced me to his parents, took me to Connecticut. I mean, it was well suited. He was bright. He was funny. I wasn't physically attracted to him, right? And my then boyfriend said, I'm not having this. And, I thought, okay. I kind of thought he was right, but I learned later on that it was cruel to keep somebody as a friend that I kind of knew cared for me a lot more than a friend. And I learned that that's actually cruel. It's not kind. So I think you're going to want to check yourself on some of these things. and find out what is the Italian thing? You got to throw one of the two of them off a cliff. Which one do you save? I think any Italians in the house or something like that. So I think you have to do some consideration. And maybe you have to reinstate your boundaries as a person as to if you know that you have this friend and you're just friends. But this one, you can't have a best friend who's in love with you. Okay, you just can't. Even if you're not in love with them, it's just cruel to them. Do you understand? So check and see if you really want to go there or if you don't. And I do think sometimes it's crueler to keep them in what I call a lover in waiting. Sometimes your friend is just a lover in waiting. Okay? I hope that helps you. If you want to do this further, just please book a consultation. I can get much more into the nitty gritty when I have the exact information. Now, is there anybody else? Okay. I set a boundary that if actions and words can't align, I can't talk to them out of work. Okay. When said this, he said I was attacking him, that he needs space for 7 days. This sounds really complicated to me. Kendra, are you the same one? I am having an immense problem with this. I'm so afraid I'm going to lose all of you. This scrolling thing is, Kendra, are you the same one? Who wrote me that they need to? Kendra, is this the same coworker? This sounds like an entirely different conversation that's absolutely losing me. Okay? I'm very confused by this conversation. Thomas, I'm going to get right back to you. I set boundary that if actions and words can't align, Kendra, it doesn't even sound like you're talking about the same person. In one conversation, you've got a coworker that's all over you and just wants you to say that you care for them. And another one, you're saying actions and words. I don't know if these are two different people. I'm not sure. I think B and Gwyneth might have been confused by a time change because they're not here today to assist me. So I'm unclear and I'm sorry about that. But let me just take it like this, like I've never seen any past commentary. Okay. If you set a boundary with somebody that actions and words don't align, whoever they are, then the fact that they get reactive and think you're attacking them for that means that your information, you might have wanted to use different verbiage to say the same thing. They felt that it was accusatory. Now, here's the scene I can't see. I wasn't physically there watching this interaction. So I don't know if your language was a little too precise, that your tone was too guarded and boundary-ish. I don't know how you said it. And I don't know enough about their disposition to know if they're overly reactive. Were you extremely harsh so they felt attacked? Are they incredibly reactive and insecure so they always feel attacked by the time anybody speaks to them? But I would suggest it's probably something in between the two. I love the fact that you're clear on what you want and what you need. But there's a lot of in-betweens here that I'm confused about, and I would have to work with you. I think we all know that hyperreactivity, when we explain something to somebody or set a boundary, is because they're really freaked out and don't want to be controlled. But I think it is important to set boundaries. It really is, of what we want and what we need. This is again where I would urge you all to have a really great sense of how to speak to this person. You don't have to want to stay with them. You don't have to love them. It could be somebody that's a family member. You just have to get from point A to point B and solve the problem. Let me get up here to Thomas. Thomas, 2000. Yes. Thank you so much, Thomas. Oh my goodness. Susan, my dear, I'm having difficulty, how, if at all, and when to let a woman know in very early stages they are being anxious avoidant, because usually they take it as an attack. When to speak up. Great, this flows beautifully with Kendra's. Thomas, really use your language. Perhaps you don't want to use the term anxious attachment. Perhaps you want to enter the conversation philosophically. One, first of all, is this woman even worth it? If she's worth it, you're going to work on how you say it. If she's not worth it, you may say something to the effect that I I really I think you're a great person. I like you, but it seems to me like you have that you're carrying some things from the past and a lot of maybe you've been hurt a lot and perhaps you're looking for this in your relationships. And I'm far more independent. We may not be dispositionally correct for each other. Now, if it's somebody you want to retain, you might say to them, what is it you need to feel secure in a relationship? These are early days. We don't know each other. Here's how I'm built. Just reveal your control panel. You're going to have to do it at some, they're going to find out anyway. What do you find? Do you know your attachment style? I mean, I think this is very important because I know you do tons of psychological. Okay, so you could just say, have you ever read the book Attached? It's really good. I know a lot of people are using it. It can help us know how we approach things, whether we're overly anxious or not. So all I can say is, you must be a fox because they're all trying to get you, Thomas. They're trying to lock you down. They want to lock you down, baby. Thank you for that. You, yeah, you always need to communicate in early days, and you can go around it and use softer explanations. I think I've told you all about one of the things I do when I'm really knowing that I have to be very gentle in my communication. I do something that I call jump to the philosophical. I don't even make it about them. Really, really touchy people, you can't even speak to them directly. Really touchy people that I do not suggest being in a relationship with, but here's what I say. I will give an example of something. I just read an article. It was really interesting about relationships. You know, so many people nowadays are getting together and the dating scene is so difficult. I mean, you know, you told me that you had a hard time, met some crazy people, and they were talking about, you know, couples that, and you give an example that one of the biggest things is that people have different attachment styles and some are very anxious and others aren't. I just thought it was really brilliant information. Um, do you have any idea, like in the beginning of the relationships, are you one of those, let's see where it goes people, or are you one of those like you know exactly where you want to go? And like how do you proceed? Because I just think that's really interesting. And you make it like an open conversation, like you've got no judgment whatsoever. I have found that people will tell me almost anything if I have zero judgment. Remember, those of you who've worked with me privately, I can't afford to have a judgment with you. I have all sorts of extremely complicated situations that come to me that other people might find morally they don't want to work with these people. I don't mean they're killing animals or people. I mean just like stuff that they're doing, right? I I have to listen as carefully as possible. It's not about me and my choices, it's about what they want. How to get that person in a coaching what they want and need without collateral damage, to show them as many options as possible. This road will get you this, okay? This road will probably get you that. And that's really the art of knowing where to go. So oftentimes give another example or bring it up like a conversation. Okay. And that can get you around to that without having to call them out where they feel attacked. You fox. All right. Anybody else here? Ah, Libra Diva. Hello, 1999. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, you guys, this is fabulous. A guy I used to be in a situationship with won't leave me alone. We haven't been intimate for over a year. Good for you. And he always initiates contact, even though I ignore him sometimes. Does he like me or is he just bored? I think he's bored. If he had you the first, it's Pavlovian. He ate there once. He thinks he can come back again. I mean, isn't that weird? You break up with somebody and they sniff around and they're kind of like, oh, yep, for. I'm like, what world are you living in? I would be absolutely ruthless. Um, if you're on this channel, you got a lot to you. I got to know that right off the bat. You wouldn't have been listening now for already 50 minutes. So I think that obviously situationships are not your style. I mean, if you just want one, make it agreeable. If you were done with him, that's fine. But when they come back, whether they have discarded you or not giving you the type of relationship you wanted and you bailed, it doesn't matter. They've already shown you who they are and what they prefer. So when they come back again, please don't fall for this bait like, oh my God, now they understand my worth. Now they want something real. They've already failed the test. They get one test. That's it. One test. And they've already shown you who they are. Don't bite. Actually, what you need to do is you need to speak up. Yay! Part of the conversation today. You need to speak up. And this is a time to do a little spanking. You need to speak up and say to them, it was fun while it lasted. I want more. I'd appreciate if you don't contact me. I'm looking for something important. I'm I'm looking for someone I can admire. Best wishes. I want to be with a man I can admire and respect. Oh, that'll finish it, baby. I love those languages. Ooh, you guys are getting all the inside secrets. See, nobody's going to watch this long to get to the juice. Okay, there we go. Oh, Lance is back. Lance, my job, $49.99. Always interesting. Lance, I adore you. 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 Lance is such a gentleman. Ladies, good men exist. Men who love their women exist. Men who love their family, who love their community. Men like this exist. They're in this group, okay? And they're in the real world. Okay, so please, please trust me on this. I adore this man. I speak to him on the phone. You know, this is a wonderful client and I think a friend, I feel, to me. So huge thanks to you. All right, so you understand these are great examples. Thank you for telling me these things. It gets tricky on how and when to speak up. Now, please don't berate yourself. If you kind of have the idea, you back down, you didn't say it quite right, it didn't go the way you wanted. The first time you rode a bike, you fell over. Okay. It's just a matter of getting used to it. And with all conversation and all manners of being with our partner, we will learn through trial and error. We gain confidence by repetitively doing something, and you will find your style. You'll find the style that works for you. Sometimes I say things with absolute humor, but they're stinging. And in that case, a joke isn't a joke, but they know what I'm saying. So I adopt my language and my style to the person because uh, it's like speaking multiple languages, knowing a person's disposition. And you can get very good at this as you study people and read people and understand. We're all kind of basic. We all want to be loved and respected. And when people get, this is the weirdest thing, people get angry and reactive and they push people away because of that. And those are the very people that are screaming out for love, but you're like, "Ooh, you're like a porcupine. I'm not going anywhere near you." That was something I never understood. You want to be loved, but so you're going to start screaming at people? Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. But maybe you've encountered that. Okay, I want to make sure that I know who this is. Oh, Valerie Rios, thank you, $20. Long distance guy canceled my trip to him. Okay, okay. Did we speak last week? There's a lot going on right now. So we might have spoken about this last week. I can't remember. This is the second time. He blames it on his life not being in order. He comes to California annually. Does he deserve to see me when he comes to town? It's hard to cut him off. Younger and gorgeous. Okay. Um, he doesn't deserve any more effort from you. Do not plan to see him. Do not fly in a booty call to this guy because this is all he has to offer you. He's young, he's gorgeous. This is like dessert when you're on a diet. Just take it, enjoy it when you can, but make sure you don't go out of your way. If you can manage and compartmentalize the emotions around him, if you feel like getting laid when he comes to California, it's the right day, it's the right time, see him and let him go. If you are incapable of doing that, stay away, like danger, danger, warning, warning. You can't handle it. Okay? If you can take a taste, good. But these are not to keep. Do not. So many times, only one person does all the work. And that's very telling. I have scheduled all these conversations I'm going to have. One of them is the whole topic that I want to have in a future video is like, why are you working so hard to make them happy? There are certain individuals that they're just doing all the work. You are doing all the work. He's hot. He's good looking. You're in California. There are a lot of hot, good looking guys in California. You got to just get more on your roster or get a real partner that really wants to be with you and take care of you on all levels. So thank you so much for that, Valerie. I really, really appreciate that. All right. Here's where my thing is getting stuck. Now let's see. Thank you, Susan. Brian, here you are. Oh my goodness. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my goodness. Aussie's in the house. Thank you, Brian. Look at the muscles on these. You okay, Lance? Okay, I've got Lance. I don't want to miss anybody. I have to go back through this. Bear with me. Okay. Brian, you are welcome. As always, adore you. And as usual, this is just your eyesight, or Nika, you choose of 1,000. Thank you so much. So I have a slight astigmatism. So when they make the glasses for me, I forgot to tell them. I'm so used to store-bought glasses that when they do the astigmatism thing, I can't see. So I went to pick up the glasses that are supposed to be just for computer. I put them on. I couldn't see. I'm like, oh my God, because this place is so expensive. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. But they're supposed to be, at least they redo things that don't work for me. So I got to wait another 2 or 3 weeks. Oh God, I hope I can see. I can now drive without feeling terrified for the other drivers. I used to go back to Arizona because I don't drive for every 6 months. I'd get in the car and I'd go, oh my God, I should not be on the road. I can't see what that sign says anymore. So that's all over. Okay, we're rolling. Oh my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Let's see what we've got here. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Lance. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. I got Valerie before I go further. Libra, we got you. We got the boundaries here. Susan, I'm having a difficult. We got Thomas. Thomas is a fox. Everybody wants him. He can't get rid of people fast enough. He's a wonderful, fantastic partner. Okay, I think we're down toward the end. I don't want to miss you all. Let's see. Oh, Richard. Let's see. Richard, hi. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Ooh, you're going to talk about politics. Here we go. Richard, adore you. Thank you so much. I love it when I see your name here. I've recently had a few dates with a wonderful lady whose political beliefs are opposite of mine. Okay, big conversation. We've avoided political discussions, but we're both very political. I tiptoed around. It's stressing me out. What do I do? Oh my goodness. Okay. This is a tough one. And this is one that I'm not able to guide you on. When you say you're both really political, do you need to talk about the day-to-day events every day of what's happening and your reaction to it? Was it James Carvell and his wife? You know, some people do it. They understand how to. I know a couple that are married some 40 years. She's ardent Trump. He's ardent Democrat. Anybody that's not Trump, they fight tooth and nail. It's not ideal. The thing, Richard, is these are early days, okay? You have a choice. And I think you need to sit down with yourself, one, and figure out, what do I feel about this? Looking forward, is there enough content inside her, every other level? So fabulous, so communicative, so bright, so right for me. Lifestyle is great. All these things that I want, really super duper. That there's this one thing that's a big issue. And if you come to that conclusion, then it's worth a conversation where you say, you know what? I really like you. You've got this, 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 and this, and everything about me wants to examine this relationship. But I'm terrified about our very strong political differences. What do you think we should do? I'm trying to hammer this out for myself. This is if you really don't know, you're on the edge. Now you need to know her opinion so that it's either yes or no. If she doesn't have all the things stacked the way you want, then knowing that this will be an ongoing conversation, you may want to avoid it. This is tough. I am independent. If there's one thing I want, there's two things I hate. We definitely need a third party. That's all I gotta say. So here we go. Richard, thank you so much, my dear. S. Kamet, hello. Should one speak up or stay silent when unsure if careless behavior was due to bad intentions or simply a misunderstanding? Oh, this is so brilliant. This is so brilliant. This is so brilliant because this is so precise. Your communications language is beautiful. This is what I was talking about. This is the crux of that. This is where I'd say, will it pass? Meaning, you've got one bump and you've got some evidence, but you're not sure if it was a one-off. Now, let me go back to the exact words that you use. Careless behavior. I love the fact that oh my God, thank you so much. You're brilliant. Okay. You can speak to anybody. So let's start with that. Careless behavior. Thoughtless, distracted, not conscious, blah, blah, blah. It is what it is. We all have those moments. Because you've used the word careless, I would err toward let's see if more stuff happens. If you get a second event of careless behavior, now you start to have a pattern. We always look for patterns in a person's disposition. The patterns will ultimately tell us what we will be working with 6 months down the road. Okay? If you see another, that's 3. This is a conversation first for yourself. Is it even worth it for me to mention? These are 3 things that are pretty clear to me that don't work for me. But really, by number 2, you should have a conversation about what it was, how it affected you, and what you'd like to see instead. Then you need to ask them, because these seem like early days. You may not be aware of this. So sometimes to give them the info, you have to backtrack a little bit so they don't feel attacked. Because again, water through the rock. You may not even be aware of this. You're a super nice guy. I know you care about people. This is something I've observed, and I'm only saying this because it's like the second time, and I bet you don't even mean to do it. But it's been 2 times now that da-da-da-da-da happened. I felt da ba 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 ba. Now, if you really want to jump to a safe spot, go philosophical. I'm just getting to know you. But for somebody like me, and maybe somebody else you date, or a coworker, they would tend to think this. I don't think it's true. At any rate, it has an effect on people. So have you ever had that reaction from anybody before? Now, if they go off and like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I never get that reaction. You're just that's goodbye. Okay. So there are all sorts of little nuances here in the conversation. Beautiful. God, I love your language. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. Okay. Let's see. Richard, win her over to the. Okay. So why am I having such problems here? It's freezing on me. Why is my page freezing on me? Oh, Lord. Okay, let me see if I can get everybody. Okay, Richard, I got you. Brian is a thank you. And Lance, I'm really struggling. What is this? Okay, I'm. Peach is freezing. Okay, everybody, I think we're good. The last one I've got is Net Detective. So I think we're going to have to wrap it up for the day today. And Mar Mitch. Okay. Now, I don't even know if okay, the super sale, okay? Remember, Friday, November 29th, shipping is free, 25% off all the merch, all the things that you need to know. Did I even tell you this? Oh God, I think I did. It's been a long hour and I've been very concentrated on what you're saying here. The thing about this is that these little phrases that I have for you, they're to jog your memory. I don't care if it's a mug or a baseball cap or a gym bag or a sticker that you put on your refrigerator for $2. Things like, consider this. What if it's all perfect? That means that whatever situation in life, that comes from Allowing Magnificence, my book and my audiobook, which is also listed down here. That's just like, before we freak out and think that it's the worst thing possible, in future time, it may be something wonderful. An ending of a relationship now could mean the beginning of something else where we didn't even know. Look at what I went through in New Jersey with all those people hating me with the young guy. I'm here with you today because of it. It was a hard transit, cried a lot of tears, didn't know why they hated me. It brought me to this point of having to speak. I didn't know this was my career. I didn't know I was good at this. I didn't see this coming. I was playing golf, going to the gym. So just take a look at that. If you need that kind of inspiration to remind you on a cup in the morning or whatever. So I've got You're So Big and Strong for all of you bodybuilders. Brian, I have Keep the Dream, Replace the Person for the person with the situationship. There, you don't need that young, get another hot guy that wants to be with you forever. Let's see. There's It's Not Me, It's You. That's for all the craziness that they do. And this time you know it's not you. And yeah, I think that's just about it. Okay, so there's one more. Okay, that was Lance. He already did this. Okay, I think I've got everybody, right? Let me see. Okay, everybody, I'm going to say goodbye for now. I will be back with you next week. Just a few notes. December 5th, there'll be no show. I'm sorry, I tried so hard. Doctors love Thursday. They must be playing golf on Wednesday or something because I have to fight like hell to have this show because this is exactly when, and I have to see this doctor. Okay, so nothing on December 5th. Um, Milan. I will be in Milan for a week this summer, right before a cruise, and then I go to Venice. So this is kind of a little teaser. Any of you happen to be going through Milan this summer, the first week of August, I'm doing private consultations. Okay. I love to do that when I'm abroad because I get to meet people I've never worked with before. Just an FYI. Lance, I keep seeing $49.99 here, and I think you've got, okay. It keeps making it like it's going over and over and over again. Everybody, thank you so much. I appreciate your being with me today. Please, if you have friends that could use this information, tell them to join our live show. There's wonderful support. I'm seeing everybody helping everybody here because while I'm trying to read and answer one person, you all are helping the others. It's a safe place with like-minded people that are just trying to live their best life and find the best version of loving partnership that they can find. I thank you for all of your tremendous generosity in the super chat, all of your support coming back all the time. I adore all of you. I'm sorry I can't be here December 5th, but the week after that, I'll be in Arizona with fabulous lighting. Fabulous lighting. Fabulous. Oh my goodness, it'll be fabulous. Everybody, wishing you well. I will be here on Thanksgiving. Get your little turkey together, Americans, when you're all full in the afternoon, 2 o'clock Eastern. Open up your laptop. I'll be here for you. I'm working on Thanksgiving. Okay, everybody. See you next week. Take care. Thank you for your generosity. Bye bye.